everyone, how are we? As it said, my name is Crowe from Queensland Media Group, and today I'm going to talk to you about social media. So hopefully today I can open your eyes and ears to maybe some of the ways that you can use social media for your organisations. I'm not going to lie, it's been a bit of a hard one to sort of plan for because I'm not really sure how much or how little everyone here knows. So we're going to start at the basics and we're just going to go, what is social media? And then you're going to move on to some of the benefits of social media, and then hopefully, some ways you can apply that to your organisations. A big part of social media is engagement. So we're going to look at why engagement is so important, and then tips to improve engagement, so you can really get the most out of being on these channels if you're going to be on there. And then finally, because I'm going to probably talk about a lot of different things, we're going to look at strategies to implement, so you don't get too overwhelmed with everything you hear today, and we just have an easy plan of attack for how you can actually set up and make some of these things work for you. So the first one is, what is social media? Like, a lot of people have different opinions and different understandings of what it is, and I know if I go talk to my mum and I say, she'll ask me, what did you do at work today? I'll say, social media strategy, and she'll go, I still really don't know what this social media thing is. She'll be like, is it the Facebook or is it Twitter? And I'll sort of say, yeah, mum, social media is Facebook and Twitter, they're social networks. But that's not what social media is. In fact, social media is basically just people having conversations online. That's really what it is at the root. So it's not a bunch of terms or buzzwords, it's just people chatting to each other online. So unlike traditional media, which is a very one-way street, so your TV ads, your radio ads, and all talk at you, the reason why social media has taken off so well for businesses and for organisations is it's because it's opened up this two-way conversation that was never possible before. So that's really the good thing about it. And then she'll say, all right, yeah, I sort of get that, Liam, but then there's so many new networks out there. What's a Pinterest, and what's this, and do I need to be on LinkedIn? There's all these things to think about. But what I'm trying to tell you today is, while there is a sea of choices out there, you don't really need to worry about it. What you need to do is find your audience and work out how you're going to engage with them. So it isn't about which social network you're on, it's just finding where the potential people you want to reach and have these conversations with are. And once you do that, you're going to have great success on there. So, this is a little graph I found that's maybe 6 months old, and basically it's sort of saying that about 1 in 2 people on Facebook. So there's a fairly safe bet that you're going to find the people you want to reach on Facebook. So that would be, in my opinion, the first place you should start. Like with the sea of choices thing, some people seem to get really caught up on being on anything on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus, and how am I going to do all this? There's so much to manage. But you don't really need to get caught up with that. What you need to do is find the right network where your audience is and then start connecting with them. And from there, if you get that right, you can then branch out and try other networks. So Twitter has 10% of the following on Facebook. So while you might find your audience on there, while Twitter might be great for certain things, I probably wouldn't start with it. I'd look at Facebook first. So that would be my first thing to keep in mind would be, if you want to try social media, start with Facebook first. So the next thing to think about is, how can my organisation, how can you guys benefit from being on social media? So I sort of talked about, it's about people having conversations online. And the great thing about having these conversations is it allows you to create new relationships, improve existing relationships, which is what I think would be probably the best thing for most of the people here. Increase word of mouth. Word of mouth is the biggest advocate any business or anyone can have, and social media really helps provide that. And become a thought leader. So this one's an interesting one. I think it still can apply here because you can really use social media to talk about, say, healthy eating and stuff like that. And you could be a very big advocate for certain ways of eating and what the benefits have for kids and stuff like that. And that's all sort of what being a thought leader is about. And social allows you to do that. It allows you to sort of show your knowledge through that avenue. I then started thinking up some maybe specific ideas for how tuck shops could sort of benefit. And it's been a while since I was at school and I don't have the best memory, so I kind of wasn't too sure what it was about. So again, the big one is, you want to build a community. You want to engage with these people and sort of have these conversations with them online and try and build, a community around that. Because by doing that, it's going to be a lot easier to then maybe recruit volunteers. I don't know how it would work now, but say if someone pulled out in the morning and then you're stuck, where do you get your phone, I don't know, call or message, I don't really know how it works, but you could really easily use Facebook to sort of just put this message out there and people will see it, it's quick, it's easy, and then you might even get people step up to volunteer that you didn't even know would before because they've they've become a part of this community and they really want to help you and do that. The next one is to showcase your menu items and all the prices and things like that. And I think that's a really powerful one. Again, I'm not too sure how it works. Maybe you send out a menu at the start of the year and people sort of read things. I have no idea really how it works, but the great thing about social is it's extremely visual, and people sort of buy into things when they see it. So you might be able to show, sandwiches and what it actually looks like, and parents might be able to see it and go, well, that actually looks like better than I could make. I'm going to get Billy's Tuck Shop tomorrow or something because it looks really nice. Again, back to educating people on healthy eating. Like I said, you can really be an advocate for these things and the benefits of eating these green foods and what it has for attention spans in kids and all that sort of stuff. Promote fundraising and other initiatives. So by building a community, again, you can push this out there and get support behind you, get people to rally for you, get people to share it on their networks, and we'll talk about that sort of stuff soon. But yeah, it's definitely a good avenue for that. And then finally, any daily specials, maybe Monday's hamburger day. You probably can't eat hamburgers at school.
No, we can.
Sandwiches day. Healthy eating day, every day. But yeah, you can just highlight those things and get people to know about it. So then you decided you want to be on social media, you've worked out it's about having these conversations, some of the ways that might be able to benefit you, then the really important thing is to think about who's your audience. So in any sort of marketing, you're always looking at who's your target market, what demographic are they, how old are they, what are their interest groups, and the same thing applies here. Except when it's with social media, you need to think a little bit deeper and just try and think about maybe why are they on there, because that makes a really big difference between the sort of content they'll connect with and won't connect with. So yeah, there's people that are on social media to connect, and I think this would be more the parents and stuff, because parents like to have these conversations, asking them, what's a new menu idea, what do you think of this? They're going to be a lot more likely to give their opinion. Whereas children's a sketchy one, like if you're in primary school, you might not be targeting children because kids can't be on Facebook. So it's more for high schools. But yeah, children are more there to contribute. They want to share stuff with their friends. They want to look cool. They want to push this over and like all these different things. So really depending on how old and who you're targeting makes a big difference on, what you're going to produce content-wise. And the last one is, why would they want to follow you? And this is sort of a really big one. You can't just build a page and grow from nowhere. People will need a reason to follow you. So whether that is back to find out, what's this week's special, what's the new menu items, what's this. These are all reasons that people will want to hopefully follow you for. There's always talk about you need to give a special or a freebie or something, and there's definitely heaps of research to show that brands and people connect for those reasons with them, but it doesn't always have to be that. I'm going to show you some examples reasonably soon of clients that I manage, and we don't give away free stuff. What we do is we give great content that people really want to share, and they actually look forward to it. So you sort of empower these people and give them what they want. So I'm just going to quickly touch on Facebook pages. And that's because there's a difference between, I don't know how many people are on Facebook, but you can have your own personal profile and what's called a Facebook page. And you really want to set up a Facebook page for your organisations for a lot of different reasons. And a couple of them I'm just going to highlight here. I won't go into it too much, but insights data. Insights is basically just information that you can see about all the people that follow your page. So how old are they? What posts have they connected to? All this sort of stuff that really helps you if you look at it. And it's really quick and easy to look at. You can just simply see, that picture of, I keep using a sandwich because I was going to say cupcake, but yeah, that picture of a sandwich, that got so many likes. People really like that stuff. Let's post more pictures of food. And it's just good to have that information, whereas a personal profile, you won't have any of that. You can set up admin roles, so you could have different people in the organisation that can help produce content for you. So it's not all on that one person, it's not all tied to your personal account. You could have someone that's a content creator, or someone that's taking answers and responding to feedback and things like that. So yeah, you can set up these roles, again, very quickly and easily, and use them to help manage the page.
To set it up, do you have to have a personal Facebook, or?
Yes, it will have to tie.
Be attached to someone's personal Facebook.
Yeah, it will. So the people using it will need one, or you can set up. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. So then places and offers. These allow you to tie a physical location to the page itself. So obviously your organisation will be at a certain place, whether it's at a school or wherever it is, and you can actually tie that location to that page and then have offers centered around that. So it might not be a huge one for you guys, but it's just something to keep in mind that you can have. And then finally, and I left this one in because I sort of moves on to another point, and personal profiles are limited to 5,000 people, whereas a fan page can have as many as you want. But the interesting thing is, and the reason I actually left it there is because that won't really matter. And that's another thing I really want you to keep in mind is it's not about having 10,000, 5,000, 550. It's not about how many people end up following your page. It's about giving them the content they want and how much information and just connecting with them. So your page might only have 200 people, 50 people, but that doesn't matter if you're actually using it for what it's about. You don't want to have massive numbers. And again, I'm going to have some examples that we'll get at soon. The final one is just a link to how you set up a page. So if you go there, you go to facebook.com/pages, you'll say create a page at the top. You go through, it literally can take 5 minutes. You just put in a bit of information about your organisation, where it is, and bam, you're on there. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's easy, you can't really break it. Just give it a crack and set it up.
If you create it, can you delete content that you appropriate?
You can.
Security.
Yeah, look, you can definitely, you have complete control over that. I'm going to look at something a bit later that's sort of talking about responding to feedback. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance you will get negative feedback, but it's really how you take that on board and answer it and then build a relationship from there. It's still a second chance, but yeah, you can, and we'll talk about that more soon. The next one I'm going to talk about is Did You Know? And a lot of people do, but some people don't, and it's surprising that, in fact, only about 7.5% on average of the content you produce, and this is the same for your personal walls and the pages you create, actually get seen. And the reason for that is Facebook and the other social networks have just algorithms that work in the background. We're not going to get into them too much. We're just going to basically say that what it does is, and this is why engagement is so important, it filters your feed based on what content you're feeding. So on my personal page, I've got like 500 Facebook friends. I follow about 600 different fan pages. And if I got all that content all the time, it would just be massively overwhelming. I wouldn't be able to filter through it. I'd have no time. I barely do with what it does show me. And yeah, how it works is it just looks at the different metrics that you can search for. So again, using the Facebook example, there's likes, comments, shares, and it just sort of remembers what I've been interacting with. So if you post content that encourages these sort of metrics, you can actually break through this barrier of engagement and reach your entire community. And it's just a natural thing for what you should be trying to do anyway. So a like is the most basic form of engagement or affirmation you can give a brand because it takes a quick click, it takes seconds, people don't even think about it, but it still has a good effect. Whereas if you ask questions and post pictures that encourage comments, then that will be a bigger, stronger affirmation from the person that has bothered to comment on it, that they're engaged and will be even more likely to see further content from you. And that's just because, you know, if I comment on something, I actually have to think about it, type it out, construct an actual response as opposed to just click like. The last one and the best one you should always aim for are shares. Shares are like the best thing ever as far as your engagement and getting your content out there, because by me sharing a post, I'm willing to put it to my own personal wall, so my friends will see your post as well, so it has that effect. And then it also is like this, yeah, the strongest affirmation that that content was really good, and I'll keep seeing more content from you. And it's also good for you as feedback, because if someone's willing to share it, there's chances that they're going to share similar posts like that again, so you sort of know, oh yeah, that really worked well, let's keep doing that. So with all that in mind, we're going to get to the slightly more fun and practical side of my little talk that looks on tips to improve engagement. So there's some really simple, easy things that you can do that make a massive difference to how people engage with your content and how effective it is. So the first one is be visual. News feeds are cluttered. You want to make sure you stand out from the crowd. So it was back to, like I said in my example, I have lots of people that I just sift through on my phone or on the internet, and just can become overwhelming. So you really need to stand out. And this is an example of Five Gum, which is just a gum company, actually, gum. And they've got like 500,000 followers. So whoever, I don't know, I don't really want to say stuff about them, but it looks like whoever was in their marketing team just went, I want 500,000 fans, we want to get massive, we want to get huge, and they've forgotten about all the other key things that is actually about social media. So at the very top, you can see there's like 871 people talking about the brand out of 500,000, which is terrible. It's really, really bad. And the reason is they're posting content like this that no one is really engaging with and just won't stand out. And the thing is, if you keep posting this content and get no response, yeah, it just has a bad effect. So you can simply break through that by putting something as simple as an image. And it makes a massive difference. So they've gone from, say, 25, 30 likes per post to almost 3,000. And again, it's not about those numbers. You might not even have 3,000 people on your page, but it's about the fact that having such a clean, great image makes a massive difference to how much people engage with your content. And it just stands out a lot more. So you should always post a picture, always, no matter what. The next one is to ask and don't tell. You know, you're there to have these conversations with people. You don't want to speak at them. So this is an example I found from Mrs. Fields Cookies, and it's sort of saying, you know, get down here now, yelling at me, you know, there's free cookies, which is great, but, you know, hit share. It's really telling me what I should be doing. It's not sort of inviting me to come try it. So this is, yeah, I think they could have reworded this and done something as simple as Starbucks in this example, where they sort of say, you know, afternoon frappuccino sample anyone. They're sort of asking you, do you want to come share? Do you want to come be a part of our thing? They're not telling me, come to Starbucks now and drink a frappuccino. It is awesome. They're sort of, you know, inviting me to come try it. And that's the sort of post you want to do, you know. What do you think of these new sandwiches? Do you want to, I don't know, it's just things like that. You don't want to say, try these new sandwiches today. It's sort of more think about inviting people to come and try. So yeah, don't talk at people, just try and include them. That's what it's about, building a community and just having a chat online. The next one is to keep it simple. Clear and concise posts are much more engaging than 5-line essays. And I found a little graph that sort of backs this up. And it's basically saying, you know, if you keep your posts under 140 characters or less, you're going to get a much larger response rate than if they're longer than that. And that's just, again, natural. People reading through, they just want an image that stands out. They don't want to read a whole big thing of text. They just want a quick message. And it can be really hard sometimes. I mean, I've sat there trying to just work out a way to make something shorter that is just needs a big paragraph. But with practice, you'll sort of get there, and it comes back to making an image do the talking for you. So this is a post I ran for, we manage all of Sleepy's social media. I do all their social media, and this is a post I ran a little while ago now, and it was just super simple. It's like, you know, it doesn't get much cuter than this, and yeah, it's pretty cute. And I think a lot of people agree. And you know, you might say, you know, well, you're not selling a bed there. Where's the brand there? And it's true, we're not, but we're selling healthy sleep. We're selling nice sleep, you know, cute. It's about building that brand and building that thing for the organisation. So yeah, with that, we got heaps of response. And it's important to realise, like, when we posted this, we had less than, you know, like 2,000 people on the page. It was barely anything. So yeah, just keep it simple, and let the picture do the talking. The next one is post timing. So the day and time you post can have a tremendous effect on the engagement level and response. And a lot of people sort of overlook this one, but I wanted to leave it in there because it's important, you know. If you search Google and said, when is the best time to post on Facebook, Google would probably tell you it's like Wednesday afternoon or Sunday night. But what this image is trying to say is basically, you know, there is no best time. You know, you need to sort of trial it. And it's true, because I might think the best time for me to post is 10 a.m. Brisbane, but that's 11 in Sydney, and that's like, I don't know, maybe 8 in WA. So there's a lot of different times to post, and it just comes back to trialing stuff. So the best way to trial stuff is to, again, consider your audience. So when are the people you're trying to reach? What are they up to? During the day, are they at work? Are they at school? What are they doing? So maybe during that time isn't the best time to actually try and reach them. The days and times. You know, nobody wants to post on the weekend, but if you get the best response on the weekend, then it's probably worth doing. And we're going to look at some ways that you can actually set up posts to run on the weekend without having to be there, because I don't want to post on the weekend. But yeah, it works. Frequency is another one. You don't want to post too much, but you don't want to post too little. You want to stay in people's mind and stay in people's eyes. Ideally, I would say once a day is best. If you can't do that, then at least once every 2 days. And yeah, just see the response and go from there. And finally, that last one is to have a timeline. And what I mean by that is sort of set up for a whole week of what you're going to do. So say Monday, you're going to post a picture about the new recipe. Tuesday, you're going to ask a question about what do you think about this. Wednesday, you're just going to post a silly, funny picture that people like and want to share. Just plan some sort of timeline so that you're not sitting there on Monday morning going, what am I going to post today? And then before you know it, an hour's gone and 2 hours have gone and you posted nothing. But if you plan ahead and have a bit of a think about it and know what happens every day, it has two great effects. You can prepare for what you're going to post, and your fans are the people that are following you can actually look forward to certain content. I know with, again, the Sleepies example, some of the stuff we post, people look forward to that day just for that content. You know, they just want to see and share our Friday funnies or whatever we're posting. They just look forward to that because they expect it. And then all of a sudden on Friday, I post something about Vita's bed today. It's just not going to go well. So yeah. Call to actions. There's nothing wrong with asking for or encouraging interaction. So call to actions are everywhere on the internet. Someone's always telling you to buy this, download that, sign up today, all that sort of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is use the Facebook example. So again, it's another cute picture for Sleepies, and it's just as simple, you know, like if you want one. And so you're using those Facebook terms that people can connect with and sort of not telling them what to do, but sort of encouraging them down one way. So yeah, just using simple terms like that people know will make them more likely to do it. The only thing with this is to be really careful that you don't overuse it. If you do these too often, people will just ignore them and get really annoyed. So maybe once a week, ask for a like or ask for a comment. You know, asking for comments, just tell us what you think. Just simple stuff like that. But yeah, use them. They're good. Now listen and respond. So, you know, social involves having listening, having conversations. So you're going to get both positive and negative feedback, and really you need to be prepared for and respond to both of them. So Eagle Boys Eagle Boys, I'm sure you've heard of them, and I found these examples where they got pretty good feedback. You know, people were going, look, you're awesome, I'm cheating on dominoes with you. I thought it was pretty funny. But Eagle Boys didn't bother to respond, they just sort of let it happen. And on the flip side, they also get a lot of negative feedback. And this is their way of responding to negative feedback. And it's just a carbon copy answer with a name change. So I'd argue that's not really listening or responding, that's just trying to divert the attention somewhere else and just mask the issue. So like I said sort of earlier, negative feedback can be a great way to improve an existing relationship. It's just how you manage that. The days when someone would go to Eagle Boys, get a crap pizza, tell all their friends and never go there again, it's gone. Now they get on social media and go, my pizza was terrible, what are you going to do about it, sort of thing. And that's Eagle Boys' chance to step up and go, look, you know, sorry, whatever, that's bad to hear. And actually build that relationship and not lose a customer, whereas they're definitely failing to do that. A company that's doing really well is Skinny Cow. So my mum loved these Skinny Cow ice creams. Like she would eat like 3 a night, 2, 3 a night. She was like addicted to them. And that's what I sort of said. I was like, you could have one nice ice cream. But anyway, she wants Skinny Cow ice cream for whatever reason, and Cole stopped selling them. And I was like, all right, we'll just ask the company, what's the deal? Where's the ice cream's gone? And she sent them an email, got a response, and they said, we'll be back to you in 7 days. I said, all right, well, look, Mum, I'll jump on Facebook, I'll see what I can find for you. So I just asked them, what happened to the ice creams? And that was 7 o'clock on, I don't know, I can't remember, Tuesday night. So the next morning, like 12 hours later, I had this answer from Skinny Cow that sort of says, lastly, and bad news for you and your mum, making out I didn't want the ice creams. But anyway, it was like, unfortunately, the single cups are no longer here. So that's a great way to listen and actually respond and get an answer in such a timely time, which has a double thing for me. It makes me really happy that I can go back and tell Mum that I've got an answer for her when the other people would say it took 7 hours. And they're actually answering in the voice. They've taken on this persona of the Skinny Cow and actually had some fun with it. And that's the other thing about social media. You don't have to be this clean-cut, hardcore brand. You can just have some fun with it. Just have chats and convos with people online. So yeah, I thought that was really awesome what they did, and they do it for a lot of people. It wasn't just me. They're always doing that. So yeah, it's a great way to use it. So they're my main tips to engagement, and this is just some of the benefits from it. So you're going to really empower that following. Them answering me really gave me just that empowerment, and by connecting with the content people are posting, it just makes you feel better. Increased brand loyalty, obviously, promotes word of mouth, higher visibility because you're breaking through that barrier of the 7% sort of thing. And yeah, you can always humanize your brand. So now you're probably thinking, how do I actually do all this? You've talked about so much stuff. And the first thing I sort of want to say is, don't be afraid to get started. Like I said, go to facebook.com/pages, take 5 minutes to set up a page, find a cool picture, put your timeline photo up there, and just get started. Add your friends, add whoever, and then slowly from there maybe you can leverage the school itself and all that sort of stuff and build your following over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you don't need 1,000 people tomorrow. You don't even need 100 people tomorrow. Just get on there and start having chats to people. So yeah, ramp up over time, definitely plan and have that timeline so know what your goals are and set up and work towards them slowly over time. And then the last one is like software. Software can be used, and the big one I use at work is Hootsuite, and it comes back to allowing you to manage multiple things in the one location. So it might not be, you might not want to manage multiple accounts and pages from the one place yet, but maybe over time you might have a Facebook and a Twitter, and you might grow. And the great thing about this is you can have all that information in one page. You don't have to keep signing out and signing in different stuff. It's all the information you need right there. The best one is that you can schedule and post content ahead of time. So back to my thing about saying Saturday or Sunday might be the best time to post, but I'm too busy sleeping. Get Hootsuite to set it up and do it for you. And it's very quick, very easy to learn, and takes no time. You might need to report to someone, and Hootsuite will just churn out reports for you. You can actually just set it up to email them straight away, so you don't even have to think about it. And the best thing is it's free for up to 5 accounts. So you could get on there, sign up, and start using it.
Is that something you just download?
Yeah, it's online. You don't even have to download it. So yeah, you just go to hootsuite.com and sign up, and then you can add your accounts and manage them from the one place. Then I just thought I'd show you a bit of the interface. So it might look a little overwhelming, but it just has everything in there. It's actually very easy to use and set up and work with. So I'm almost done. So I just wanted to highlight some of the big things from today, and that is, social media doesn't need to be a big scary thing. It's just about people chatting and having conversations online. Don't get too caught up in Twitters and Facebooks and all the jargon, all the buzzwords. Just get on there and start connecting with people. If you define your goals and work towards them, then you'll have success. So think about why you want to be on there. I had some ideas that might have helped. Hopefully this has maybe opened your mind up and you know a lot more about your organisations than me. So maybe you can set those goals up and work towards them. Once you work them out, just really think about who your audience is and where you're going to find them. I said Facebook's probably the best place because 1 in 2 Australians are on there. So I would say start there. Follow those tips to improve engagement. They definitely work, and they're really simple, easy things that anyone can do. And then just, plan ahead to avoid getting overwhelmed. And that's me done. I can take one.
We actually have a school Facebook page where we've done a lot of those things.
Yep.
It's grown, and all of the, our views and all those things are working. Do you think it would be better from a touch-on perspective to have a separate page, or whether to use that as a place to start doing posts that are about that as well?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I usually like to keep one strong community, then split a community like that. Yeah. So if the school's giving you enough control over your posting and stuff like that, I'd definitely start there. And then you can maybe branch out from that, but it's always hard to split communities. Yeah. So, we were having a big chat about that at work, which was the best way to do that. So, look, if you're already doing stuff on there, maybe continue doing that. And if you think you can really benefit from it, then expand. But it's definitely better to have one strong community than 2 sort of separate ones.
Last one.
We've talked at school before regarding social media and stuff, and I was under the impression that the kids always thought it best not to engage in.
They have actually just brought out new guidelines, so they've actually just published new guidelines, and Education Queensland also has guidelines. As long as you stick to the guidelines, you actually are allowed to be on Facebook. Okay. And at our school, our PNC's actually just, when we had our AGM, we've actually have a person who's our social media coordinator now. It is their role to monitor our social media. so that we can be on social media as well as be responsible and all those things that we need to be under school guidelines.
And it is really powerful, as you said, you can actually respond. So if parents have a concern, and you do have to have someone manage it, we're lucky we have
That's
that.
the most important thing.
But if you have someone who can answer something, like a parent can ask a random question in response to something goes on, but if you can actually answer that, it's so much more powerful than having to wait for somebody in adult to get back to them 3 days later, or, you know.
Yeah, so instant response.
So I'd like to say thank you to Liam.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.